You know, you know, you know. Um, Welcome to another open court discussion in the Counselor's Corner. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my co-host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis.
Ow!
Could be trouble. On January 20th, tonight, happy MLK Day. Uh, we will be covering the topic, the OnlyFans effect, how women are leveraging the platform for financial freedom. In an era where women's empowerment and financial independence are at the forefront of the conversations, we're exploring the complex and often misunderstood world of OnlyFans. As a platform that's disrupted traditional notions of sex work, entrepreneurship, and online commerce, OnlyFans became a lightning rod for controversy and curiosity. OnlyFans, but beyond the headlines and stigma lies a nuanced reality. Thousands of women are using OnlyFans to take control of um, their finances, their bodies, and their futures. So, can OnlyFans truly provide financial freedom for women? That's a question that we have to um, answer. What are the opportunities and challenges that come with um, that's why I hate when when you get old and your handwriting is off. Creating content on this platform, and how do we separate facts from fiction in the midst of rapidly changing online landscape? Join us as we delve into these questions and move with insights, personal stories, and a healthy dose of skepticism. Let's get the conversation started. And one more thing, please like and share our video. And don't forget to tell an OnlyFans member to tell another OnlyFans member to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. Yep. So we sitting at lost the subscribers like nip and tuck at 929. Still trying to get to that goal of 950, but the ultimate goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. So we still, trying to work hard to get there. It's gonna be a grind like everything else, but I promise you we will get there. So here we are tonight, cold night, cold day, brick weather, but we're gonna have got a little heat with this OnlyFans thing. But before we get into that, what's good, Big Bad Wolf? What's new from last week?
Man, nothing, man. Just taking in the weekend of football, man. I feel bad for Detroit fans, man. I thought we was gonna have to start calling out the counselors and start making mass appointments because they must have been on watch. But man, I can't complain, man. Things I suppose other than that, when it's scripted, work is work, and I'm starting to look at the upcoming year, trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything situated. Now I got no complaints, man. Pen and paper and plans. That's it.
Well, back to the point about football. Like I was saying to my boys in the group, whatever. Simple as that. In playoff football, turnovers, you can't have them. Especially when you start advancing in the playoffs, you're playing better competition. Teams are hungry, and you got to have limited mistakes. That did Detroit in. Now, granted, even though Detroit had all those players on injured reserve, they still would have won if they didn't turn over the ball. They would have won, but they gave the ball away. Same thing with Baltimore, gave it away. But for people who think that the weather didn't have a factor in it, don't understand weather, and I was in a couple groups and people were saying, "Oh, Baltimore about to come in there and do this and do that," and people probably think like, "Oh, who do you go for? You live in Baltimore, but you're from Niagara Falls in the Buffalo area." I absolutely despise the Ravens. And the reason that is because I'm actually a Steelers fan. So that could never, I don't give a damn if I lived on the street with all Ravens. I'm never going to like them because I grew up as a Steelers fan, and Buffalo is my second team by default because it's the hometown. But people were saying this, and I said, oh, that weather, Baltimore not used to playing in that. And they're like, oh, cold is cold. I'm like, okay. Clearly you never dealt with Western New York weather and lake effect snow and that wind chill factor, and played a factor in Andrews with that missing that catch too, whatever. And like Shannon Sharp said, when the football is that cold and you bobble it, there's no restoring it, whatever, because they're probably not going to even have the same bounce or trajectory it normally would have, because it's shit like a rock. So
Yeah.
so that's what happened. And hey, Lamar is Lamar. He gonna put in his work, but people are gonna keep questioning, like, oh, could he win the big game? And for Josh Allen, shit, this win is only as good as the next game, because if he don't get it done against Kansas City, he in that same boat. So sooner or later, like Jordan had to overcome Detroit, sooner or later you got to overcome a champion. And until you do that, you just gonna always play second fiddle.
Yeah, let me follow that up with yeah, it is.
Cole is a different
Let
kind
me
of
follow
player.
that up with saying this. There's a lot of people, regardless of the outcome of this particular season, there's a lot of people that are bemoaning how the NFL MVP is awarded. And some say stats, popularity contest. Valuable is just that. It is about popularity, one, to production. Now, those two don't necessarily follow the same script, because as we saw last year with Josh Allen, he had the better numbers, but Lamar was more valuable. Not necessarily but because of his production, but because of how that production translated into Baltimore being difficult to defend. We saw that yesterday in the game. That two-headed monster reared its head. Buffalo did enough to keep them in check, and with, as David said, with the turnovers, that was the balance in the game. Now, I saw something that I rarely see with a lot of professional athletes. And it wasn't so much the exchange of the embrace between Allen and Jackson. That speaks to the character of those two men, period. There's no discussion. So it transcends ethnicity. But what I saw was, prior to Jackson leaving the facility, he was signing autographs. The NFL is in very good hands in the future. You look at what Jaden Daniels has done in Washington, you look at what Cincinnati has, and then you look at CJ Stroud. People, if you're an NFL football fan, you should be thrilled that the postseason is going like this, regardless of who wins. And I know people are talking about Kansas City gets these calls, and yeah, this is when your coaches got to come into your defense and say, hey, look, they're calling this game close to the vest. If you get into a situation where a quarterback is scrambling, i.e. Mahomes, and he hasn't slid, don't use your shoulders, use your hands. And I know it's counterproductive to a defensive person not to try and lay it into somebody. This is where you have to start thinking as a defensive person and not always reacting. We know you want to blow the quarterback up, but do you want to blow the quarterback up and cost your team a game? Push. I know how people are going to say, oh, you don't play football like that. You have to play football like that. This is the postseason where any call can be the difference between winning and losing. And trust me, I played, so I can say that.
Hell, that's basically how Kansas City got to the Super Bowl that one year against Cincinnati. That penalty toward the end, roughing the passer, or not roughing the passer, but the unsportsmanlike conduct, whatever they call it, the hit, and kind of blew it. So yeah, you gotta. It's a thinking. The further you advance, the more you got to think and realize, like, you're almost there. You can't. Got to maintain your composure. Sometimes early in the season, you'll do something boneheaded, but when you get to the last games, you got to be on point. You got to be sharp. So that's that. Now we're gonna get into and during the promo, Auntie mentioned that the subject tonight kind of could tie in like with Dr. King's message, or people were probably thinking like, how the hell OnlyFans could tie in with what Dr. King believed in, but he believed in empowerment of people, equity, opportunities, and this is what OnlyFans have given some women, that opportunity to make serious money. And it's some of the guys that's spending and they're spending and spending. So some of them uh, making out good. Is it a career? Absolutely not. Can you make a run at it for a few years and get as much as you can? Then maybe go back to your regular job situation or whatever. Absolutely, you can. But there comes stuff with it. So, of course, Auntie has a lot to say. So I'm gonna have to bring her in because she go to bed early. She said she didn't like the way we did it the last time. She said we had that one guy on here. He was running his mouth, and then we brought her in the last minute. So I don't necessarily want to hear that. So let me see if I can connect with her. Uh, Let me see. Let me see. Be patient. Be patient. All right. Good evening, everybody. Hey to the counselor. Hey to the big bad wolf. This is Auntie, and I'm here to come on tonight to talk about the the OnlyFans effect and how women are leveraging that platform uh, for financial freedom. But excuse me, I was kind of rushing. I tried to get cute for this my part of the show, and I'm just falling behind schedule. You know how that is. I'm gonna make this kind of brief, even though I have a lot to say. How much time I got? Okay, it's getting late. It's getting late. So, anyways, the OnlyFans. I think in doing my research, it said it started in like launched like November of 2016. So as you can see, it's going on a 9-year run. And I guess the guy, I didn't write his name down, but he created this platform to kind of give content creators the opportunity to engage with their fans, but also uh, get monetization for it. That's a hard word to say. Anyways, get paid, damn it, get paid for what they do, for their creativity. Now, what most people think of when they think of OnlyFans, they just think of like women on there, doing videos, and they think of it being sexual and all of that stuff. But there's other things you can do to get paid on OnlyFans. But our minds is always in the gutter, always in the gutter. Um, so my take on it is this, and I said it on the promo for for the pre-show. I said that if you gonna do it, if you gonna do it, you got to realize you got a short run at it. You got a short run. It's like I would be very surprised if you have people who started in 2016 and they still doing it because that window closes real fast. It reminds me like of a running back in the NFL. You the big man, you doing this and that, but then your time is running out. So I like to think for me, if I was ever into that, I would say I would do it with a goal in the at the end, like ends to a means to an end, sort of like
If I wanted to get a house, a down payment on the house, or I needed to get a new car, or um, my kid needed to go to private school or something like that. But if I had kids, I'm not doing it because you just don't want the backlash. And I'll bring that up too, the negative stigma. But it's something you do, you get in and you get out. And then you go back to your regular life and you work a regular job. But you got that nest. You got that nest waiting there as a backup plan that you are right and you feel comfortable and you feel you have some financial freedom. And I think a lot of times people do it for the autonomy. Like people to these jobs these days just ain't what they used to be. You got people down your back. You can barely take off anything. There's no human compassionate element to these jobs. But when you do OnlyFans, you create your own schedule. If you feel like getting up and you say, I'm going to shoot videos for 2, 3 hours and then shoot the shit or go shopping or do whatever, you have that ability to do that. Because on and one of the things is that's like a pro, and I'm all over the place, but I'm 83 though. You got to remember that I'm 83. I'm wise, but my thoughts be all over the place. So y'all just have to bear with me. But it ain't no different than when the big bad wolf and the counselor be on that show. Sometimes they be all over the place. You be like, what the hell they talking about? But it ain't no different. So but it's instability in it too. You can be on top, making you could have made like 10,000 one month, then the next month you only made 1,500. See, that's the thing. In a regular job, you kind of know what you're gonna get paid. So it has its highs and lows. Don't put your all into it. The day that kids start saying, "Oh, I want to be an OnlyFans content creator," then that's when you're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have some issues. You don't want that for them. And don't mind me, I'm looking at the time because I know I got. I'm ready to call it a day, and I'm just trying to add my little feedback to it. So just think about that, the autonomy, and again with the negative stigma and you flaunting your body and you showcasing everything, people gonna have something to say. It would be no different at the workplace if you had on something and people thought you looked inappropriate. Well, some guys gonna think you're easy. They're gonna think you're easy and they're gonna think they could talk to you anyway. And I know you're entitled to wear what you want to wear, but then you got to understand you gonna get some backlash. See, that's the problem. A lot of y'all think with this social media stuff, y'all wanna be Billy Badass or Brenda Badass, and then uh, people come for you. Then you wanna go cry and hide under covers. Well, you put stuff out there, people gonna have something to say. So either you're gonna put on your big girl panties and deal with it, or you're just you're gonna either hold up or fold up. All right. And one of the other things that crossed my mind with this is when you think about, men and making the comments and stuff. And again, when you think about the lucrative side of it, there's men that spends on this. They get subscriptions and they may have 3 or 4 subscriptions to different women. And they really trying to connect with these women. And I think it probably blew up OnlyFans during the pandemic when nobody could get out and do everything like they used to. But it's some men that spend. Back in our days, we used to call it like play around money. There's some guys got some good play around money, and long as they could handle their business at home, they play around, and they hope to connect with one of these little girls. Now I don't know what they old ass is gonna do with them when they get it, but they had that money. So you think about it. If you are a OnlyFans content creator and you got like 30 people that subscribing to you, not even say 30, just say let's say 100 and they paying I don't know $4.99. Yeah, I do the math. If it's how much is that? How much is that? Uh, what did I say? 500 subscribers,
Money.
and and they paying $4.99. That's probably a couple thousand a month, right there. Which a couple thousand a week. But I don't know if they pay on monthly, whatever. I don't know what they pay, but and my numbers may be all scattered and all over the place, but I think I get the gist of it. If you got some consistent money coming in, then you gon' you gonna make out. You gonna make out. And some guys are willing to spend that, and they gonna send extra money for videos, and they gonna want private discussions and all that. But what you don't want to do is somebody, because images are powerful, and I think that's the thing that people get caught up in. You don't want to be that guy who can just barely pay your bills, but you are all over OnlyFans because you're trying to create that illusion in your head, and you fantasizing about some woman that your ass know you can't get. You know you can't get. You know if you seen that person face to face in public, your ass wouldn't say nothing. So stop it. Just knock it off. All right. Okay. Um, I got more stuff to say. I just wanted to get this conversation started. And just remember this: if that's something you want to do, lady, it's a short run. It's a short run. Now you'll be very. It ain't too many people fortunate like me. I look good all my damn life, and I'm 83 years old. And you know that's a blessing to God. Eating right, eating my oatmeal every morning, drinking prune juice, taking drinking teaspoons of vinegar, um, eating turmeric, all of that stuff to look good. But that ain't everybody don't have a run like that. And also women, always women with men that are on OnlyFans, gotta look at yourself. Gotta look at yourself. If you let yourself go, then he gonna go right to OnlyFans. He gonna go right there. If you keep letting yourself go because you got content that you're married, and then you're gonna wonder why he went to OnlyFans because he's looking at those images. And your image, that broken hip, or the disproportionate parts of your body. Uh, some of these men, even though they are broken down, but you can't tell them nothing when they got a few dollars in their pocket. You can't tell them nothing because that money be burning a hole in it. But they think they could say anything. And then you crying and upset, and they done ran off to OnlyFans. All right, good people. Y'all enjoy yourself. Sorry for me going on and on, but this is what you're going to get from an 83-year-old. I'm going to give it to you raw. I'm going to give it to you blunt. I may not be able to pronounce every word, but I'm going to try. I'm going to die trying. I'm going to die trying. But all right, good people. Auntie loves you. Everybody, and I hope you enjoyed your MLK Day. I hope you enjoyed your Donald Trump Day or whatever you want to call it. Everybody,
Oh yes, it is Inauguration Day.
stay cool. It's gonna be cold. I already said that. It's gonna be cool, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all stay warm. God bless you all, and everybody be safe. And please look out for each other. That's all. Look out for your neighbors too. All right, good people. I'm out. We'll see you next time, and I hope you guys had a great show tonight. I'm out. Rockabye, baby. I'm gone.
All right, Auntie. Say a lot.
Hey man, she's dropping some Johns.
Anything you want to say with Herb about follow up to Auntie?
Man, she's at the table, man. I don't know where to start to eat at. My goodness. Woo. Let me sit to the table and let me pick a plate because she dropped about 4 or 5 of them off. Number one, and Kevin Samuels used to say this, and people they got mad at him. They thought he was tripping. This chef life is short. And like she said, make sure whatever it is that you do, you have an exit plan. Because if you get on there and you get a good 3 or 4 year run and you get you a nest egg, make sure that whatever you plan on doing with that nest egg is going to allow you to set up the foundation for whatever it is that you want to springboard to next. So if it's a college education, if it's home ownership, if it's the purchase of a car, whatever it is, make sure that you shore that up. Because once you get on that platform, those images are there. And there's no erasing, no deleting. Can you hear me, David?
Yeah, I was moving stuff
Okay.
around. I don't know why you're
All right. There's no deleting, there's no removing that content. and you don't know if people are screenshotting things or whatever it is, downloading things. I'm not sure of how OnlyFans works. I don't have an account. I've never been on the platform, but similar to, like she said, similar to YouTube, it was supposed to be a site for people to connect with people and learn how to do some things. It just so happened that people found out a way to monetize certain things. That's the American entrepreneurial spirit. Find out a way to make money. Now, to follow another avenue that she talked about, economic freedom is most women's greatest concern. We could talk about the financial abuse that men engage in when it comes to marriage and lording finances over women's head. That's fine. I'm not here to pick a side either way. I'm just simply here to lay out the argument for both sides. Women want that economic freedom. They want the ability to be able to do as they please, regardless of the situation. This is one of the reasons why divorce rates are up. As women are saying, hey, look, I want to be able to do what I want to when I want to. I have the economic means to. I have the intellect to. And if it doesn't work out, oh, well. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with an individual wanting to self-determine whatever it is that they feel like they can do. The only thing that's going to check that is reality. So whether the reality is they don't have the mental ability, the physical ability, or the financial ability, nature's going to show them. You can't do this. You can't fly in this. You can't fly at this altitude. You got to go back down to where the air is thinner, to where you can breathe. And that's something that everybody, male or female, adult or child, will learn. Nature is a very harsh teacher, and it takes no prisoners. Now, something else that Auntie said that a lot of our listeners may not know of, and I didn't come into this information until last year. And when I found out, I was like, are you kidding me? The television show Sopranos, there was a female, forgive me if I mispronounce her name, Gia de Matteo, the one that plays Chris Moltisanti's girlfriend. When she fell into debt, guess what she did? Right to OnlyFans, cleared the debt up and got out. This is why a lot of people didn't know. So it's just like Auntie said. And the thing about it, the thing that was the controversial thing was not the fact that she was on OnlyFans. It was that she had her 13-year-old son editing her content. That was something that Auntie talked about. Now, me personally speaking, not my son, not my wife. I have no horse in that race. The thing about it is what people have to understand is another 2 generations, by my guesstimation, at least primarily, are millennials and Gen Z. Those are the women right now, and I didn't look at the statistics on the users of OnlyFans, but right now in terms of the trade, those women are more than likely to be the biggest subscription holders to the platform in terms of marketing themselves. That's what I'll say. I won't say selling. I'll say marketing themselves. Because you have some women on there who are virgins, who have never been with a man, been with a man, but they're still making money. And people will admit and will say, well, if it wasn't for men, these women wouldn't have the ability to do that. You know what? You very well could be right. But this is what a lot of people fail to understand. Men are making money. Men are going to spend money. So if men aren't spending money on dates, guess what the next closest thing to a date for some of those men are? And you can call them incels, you can call them whatever they want. You guessed it. OnlyFans. This is why some men try to connect with those women via that method. So all those men who are no longer going to clubs, bars, or any place where boomers and Gen Xers used to get together and hook up, OnlyFans is replacing that. And women aren't dumb. Shout out to Coach CGA. He said, women are in business, men are in love. I wholeheartedly believe that. So women are profiting off of men's lust, off of men's desire to have an orgasm, off of men's desire to see women. It's natural. There's nothing that no power on this planet is going to do to curb that desire. People often talk about how porn has impacted marriage rates, reproductive rates, and that's fine. I'm not here for that particular argument. We'll get into that one some other time. But all these things need to be looked at and considered. So when you look at women's ability to capitalize on themselves, to market themselves, and to profit, and they can do with that money as they choose, there is no greater aphrodisiac for women than that.
Wow. All powerful stuff. And Auntie did speak on images. And I often talk about, images. And that is one of the things that attract people to social media, Instagram and stuff. And some people say, "Oh, I never say anything on there. I don't post. I don't do anything. I just stroll through, look at pictures and things of that nature." And I often talk about the experience that I had in one of my graduate, one of my master classes for counseling, and one of my teachers was like, "Listen, all of that, PowerPoint with these bullets and all that stuff, no one cares. No one wants to sit there and see you present that with, he's like, I don't even care if it has special effects with words popping out." He said, "You got to throw pictures up there. And that kind of stays in the brain." And we kind of should know that by people, getting caught up in, like commercials and stuff. So when you see images, it's powerful. And it was nothing sweeter than kind of proving his theory when we did a PowerPoint, and me and my boy, shout out to Kevin, man, from Newtown High School. We did a presentation of our student handbook, and one of his supervisor for the admin program came to observe our presentation. And some of the pictures we had that went along with the handbook, he was an older white guy. He was kind of floored, but afterwards he was like, wow, like I'd never seen anything like that. He said, but those images kind of depict what happens in the school day, because we had pictures where girls was like twerking, like backing up into a guy, he up against his locker, and he was like, so he said, for you guys to present that and the kids were engaged because that's what they see every day. Mm-hmm. He said, so y'all was dead on. So once we did that, I knew that method was powerful. So, and you think about OnlyFans and, again, social media with pictures and videos and stuff, our minds gravitate towards that. Sometimes you don't even read captions. You just click right away, and then you go from there, and you may miss a key point because something might have been said in the caption, but you're too busy caught up on the image or the video footage that we just go on. So just think about shit, when a man pops up and he sees some little tenderoni with some lingerie on, and he looking, and then he's clicking on more pictures, and then it says, well, you want to see more, you have to subscribe. His ass is like, his ass is like and there you have it. And he's subscribing. Now he's able to engage in conversation, and they talking, and where you from, where you at? Oh, I'm only an hour away. And there you have it. There you have it. And I'll leave it at that. To be continued. I'll stop right there.
Well, I'm gonna pick it up and run with it, because this is a marathon right here. And furthermore, to follow up with what David is saying, people will contend, like I said earlier, If it wasn't for men, this wouldn't exist. People understand something. 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, $20 a month. A month? That's not a lot of money. It really isn't. Think about it. If you go to Starbucks once a day, which most coffee drinkers will drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day, you spend $2 or $3 a day per cup of coffee. At the end of the week, guess what? That's $10 to $15. Would you hear somebody telling you that $15 is too much to be spent on a cup of coffee when you can go to the store and get you a can for that much and make coffee at home? Well, no, you wouldn't. You said, no, I'm going to get my coffee. That's my fix. That's my guilty pleasure. That's what keeps me going. It's the same thing with marketing of women in this particular realm. See, sometimes we're haphazard to talk about things without actually really getting the full spectrum of what it is. Now, I'm fortunate enough to where I live where I can drive 1.5 miles and I can go what we refer to, and I'm sure David knows the term when I say it, to the Canadian Ballet. Guess what? Full nudity. And sometimes the cover is a drink. That's it. If you want to go have a drink in the champagne room, that's up to you and the person you dancing with. So this stuff has been around in some iteration for generations. You go to Vegas, there are certain places that are zoned off for it. You go to Amsterdam, they have the red light district. Even during world wars, when women lost their primary spouse, guess what they were doing? They were getting by any way that they can. So I'm not here to demonize women who do it and men who partake in it. As with anything, I'm going to offer this disclaimer. We are not here to advertise for women to engage in this or for men to partake in this. We are just here to lay out the argument. Do what you want to with the argument you want. Just be informed. So, like I said, Las Vegas, Canada. Strip clubs are legal. Full nudity. 100%. And I've known about this for almost 30 years. Now, personally speaking, I don't go. But there are a boatload of men who make their way over there explicitly for the entertainment. I'm not here to demonize them. I'm just simply here to say, look, I know and I understand it. And this is the thing when it comes to the younger generation. We tend to, and we always talk about hiding things from kids. It is the absolute worst thing that you can do for a child, is to hide the reality of the world from them. Let them know, age appropriately, when they start, especially for young girls, because they are the ones who are ultimately going to have to decide. And it's that fork in the road. So if they decide to go the OnlyFans route, for whatever reason, let them know that they are making the decision to permanently alter, if they decide that they want to have kids, family, things of that nature. It could permanently alter the group of men that they have to select from. Let me read what Greg Cooper said. He said, Buffalo fans prostitute themselves every football season. We still love you, Herb. Just don't get any STDs. And this is the thing about OnlyFans. I'm glad you said that, Greg. It gives me a segue into something else. With OnlyFans, guess what does not exist? The ability to get somebody pregnant, the ability to contract an STD. There are going to be people out there who shame men, and guess what? By and large, those men are doing absolutely nothing to no one. Now, you'll have people who will say, well, yeah, but they're messing up the dating market. How so? Because they're not available for women who don't want them anyway, to be taken out on dates, foodie dates, to have money spent on them, to be lavish with gifts. when they're dangling the, shout out to Alan Roger Curry, the possibility of sex. All those things are in a woman's favor when it comes to dating and mating. The average man understands that, and he still partakes in that particular aspect of dating. There's nothing wrong with it. And I said this before, and I'll come back to it. People have to understand that we are in a shifting dynamic. So no longer is dating in terms of the boomers and Gen Z generation what it is. You got women up front who are cash apping some, or who are messaging something. Here's my cash app. I got to have this done. I got to have this paid. I got to have this paid. All the while that man is receiving absolutely nothing. He don't even get to kiss her. He don't get to see her in anything risque or revealing. And he's supposed to pay? Men are risk averse. And most men are bottom line driven. They're going to say, hey, look, if I'm going to give you $50, $60, I want to see something. Hey, I may not get to touch those bouncy little mountaintops, but at least I get to see them. And for some men, they say, hey, that's better than nothing. It's the equivalent for me of you guys going out to buy Starbucks for a week. $20? Ain't nothing. That's good, wholesome entertainment for me. I'm gonna go home, take care of myself, and go to sleep. I ain't bothering nobody. I'm not out in the bars, harassing women that are gonna nuclear reject me. I'm good. Let me stay home. It's a cold winter night. I'm in the upper Midwest, Chicago West. It's cold in North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Montana. Shoot, that Canadian prairie wind come down and sit my behind in here, click this mouse and watch my favorite 20-something so her wears off. Let me subscribe to her for $10 a month. Let me take care of myself. I'm going to bed. How can, this is the thing, how can somebody actually rail against that? Oh, I know. Because they're turning these little girls into prostitutes. Well, guess what? The decision to quote unquote turn them into a prostitute was made by her. Nobody holds a firearm to a female's head and says, you have to do OnlyFans. You can get into the workforce. You can go get certification, whether it be welding, be a boilermaker, iron worker. All those professions are available to women. But guess what? Most women aren't going to do those jobs because they're physically demanding. However, having a nice B cup, C cup, a nice firm little body, she might work out for it. All I got to do is wake up and look pretty. Throw on some makeup, prance around my room for 4 or 5 hours. I get me $5,000 a month. That's $60,000 a year. If I'm living in a place where $60,000 a year affords me a decent living, I can buy a car and I can put away some money to go to college in 5 years, have it paid for. Why would I not do that? People, wake up.
So
We need time.
So that bring me to thought when you had mentioned that before about girls kind of following, like it's almost influencing girls to get into that trade. So it made me think about even the drug industry, whatever, where some guys got roped into it. And again, we talk about images. It's powerful. So when you're a young man and you 14, 15, and your mother ain't got it, your grandparents may no longer exist, or you don't have no relationship with them, and everybody, back in our day, and I'm thinking back in our days, everybody, when Jordans came on the scene, then you had sneakers, the Lottos, the Troops, and all of that, starter coats, and Sherlin jackets and all that stuff.
Oh wow!
And you know damn well,
yeah,
you would never be able to get it. There's just no way, especially when you got siblings and they're around your age. So why do you think some guys jumped into that? Because of the images of what they seen, like, hey, this dude my age, then he got a car. Damn, he pulling mad females. Like he the man around here. Shit, he might, if they know each other, he might approach him like, damn, how you get that? and they might tell you, explain to you like you want that work, and they may, yeah, because their self-esteem may be down. They may be getting ridiculed. They may only have 1 or 2 pair of sneakers for the whole year, or
Yeah.
something of that nature. So they jump into it, and they get into it. The outcome isn't always the greatest, but you got to understand, when you got an undeveloped mind and they see images, that's what's going to attract them. Same thing with the girls. You see, you're like, damn, how you get that? You get your nails done every day, your hair is done. You got these Coach purses, Louis Vuitton. How you get this? Girl, you don't even want to know. And then
Right.
when they explain, and like, man, shit, I could barely get this. I ain't even get no school clothes to start off the year with. And trust and believe, I know these conversations are real because they tell me that. These students come and tell me that, like, I didn't even get this. I don't even get that. I haven't had this. So then they get a plug and somebody tell them how to do it. You know, and you wonder how it happens. So now they didn't jump in. Now they live in a different life. Excuse my language. They like, fuck mom, fuck dad. I'm getting my own bread. I got this, I got that, I got a stash, and sooner or later I'm going to get me a car. I'm gonna get my license, and you wonder why. And you wonder why. People, we got so many other things to cover down with and worry about. And even that's why I always say they need to fix this school shit, because right, they just don't see it. They just don't see it. I don't know if I mentioned last week. I just had a conversation with one of my 7th graders. She was like, man, we just got back to school. Matter of fact, they had their break. We came back. We had a short week, and then we had a snow day and maybe a 2-hour delay. And I'm like, shit, you should be all ready to learn. I said, I know when I used to be out, I used to be already like, I can't wait to get back to school. She's like, no. Like, Mr. Glover, I don't even like school. Like, if I could, I'd drop out.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. That's what a lot of them feel. So because they want it fast. And we talk about the microwave society. They want this money fast. And if they can get a way to get it, and they can get instructed on how to get it, they're going for it. They're going for it. And that's what we don't understand. We sitting around thinking, oh, well, man, the education system and this and that is the American way. Got to adjust with the times.
Yeah.
So they're making moves. So you never know. So when your kids start asking, Mom, I need a tripod. I want a camera. I want this. I want that. And everything is digital and technology. You might have to say, but nah, some of y'all don't think about it because y'all don't want to listen to the shit we trying to school y'all on. Y'all be like, oh yeah, they wanted this, that, and a tripod. I got them, and I found the little set on Amazon. Got them all that, and they got their room boarded up. Your ass can't get in there, and you the parent. Guess what they do? Guess what they doing? That's my case.
and I'm going to pick up the baton and run some more. David talked about imagery and how it sells. The music industry compounds that with catchy beats and the things that they listen to. And our day coming up, we had songs like Sights in the City by Guru on his Jazzmatazz, Volume 1. If you've never heard that song, please listen to it. It's called Sights in the City. Number 2, by the Blastmaster, KRS-One, had a song called That Love's Going to Get You. If you haven't heard that song, please listen to it. Both of them are available right here on YouTube. And the last one, shout out to the rappers who are no longer with us, who was giving us information that we didn't quite understand, but we do now, 5 o'clock in the morning. All those songs are relevant to what David was talking about in terms of imagery and what these kids are gravitating to. For a lot of people, especially young black males, it was a drug game. If you weren't in it, You couldn't get the women. And what thing drives a lot of male behavior, especially at a certain age? The wants and desires of young women. That's what a lot of young men are searching for. That's just how some of them get their validation. Even if they're what people term as L7s or squares. You don't think nerds want the attention of a beautiful woman? The TV show Family Matters was primarily based on that particular concept. Urkel and Laura. Urkel's smartest kid that the show's ever had. Laura's an attractive one. He always chased Laura around. So these things we telling you, they're in your face. You have to be able to sit down and figure out how can you relate this to the next generation? Because some of you out there listening are grandparents. Their mothers and or fathers don't necessarily understand this the way you do because they haven't been through it. So it's your responsibility. I won't say job. It's your responsibility to pull your grandkids aside and say, hey, look, I'm not going to teach you about the birds and the bees. That's your parents' job. I'm going to teach you about the lions and the hyenas. And anyone that knows anything about nature will understand that just because lions are the kings of the jungle don't mean that they can't be got by hyenas. So which one is which? The hyenas are the females. The lions are the males. But if the lion get caught out there wrong, the hyenas will get them. And this is what people need to understand about how all this works. I'm set it up for you. If a lion is on the prowl by himself looking for a particular female for whatever reason, guess what? He'd be set up. Got a hyena out there working, selling the things, and there's a rapper who's talked about doing this. Set him up, got him. Now, she don't want to do OnlyFans, but she want to get that money. And she got him. There's a young female who had to kill the guy. Go ahead, Dave.
Before you go on, because I never really paid attention. I remember my father used to always say, y'all like a laughing hyena, but never really studied what a hyena was. I think I know what it looked like, whatever, but I never paid attention. So is that what happened? Lions end up getting with hyenas. Yeah. So and again, like I tell people, we don't know everything. Everything I say Herb might not can relate to, and some things he said, like shit. All I remember my father was like, y'all like laughing hyenas. I never questioned what it meant, but just like okay. But okay. So
yeah, and shout out to, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention her name. Shout out to Crimson Cure by way of BGS. She was the first one that introduced that hyena thing. I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, oh, fucking hyena ain't taking out no goddamn lion. And I was like, but a group can. And sometimes we don't realize as men, we think, we walking around, we invincible. And until we run into the right crew. And the right crew gets you. That's why I say, go listen to the song. Love's gonna get you. So all these things, they are before these kids. And like David said, they're young and impressionable. Their minds aren't solidified to the point where they can say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to take that route because I don't want to end up like this brother did. I was fortunate enough, even though I was raised the way I was, single mother, foster homes, high school dropout, I was fortunate enough to have a strong enough will and foundation to not go down that road. And at an impressionable time in my life, I was taught to work, clean money versus dirty money, smart money versus dumb money. But for women, OnlyFans is legal. That's the other thing that we have to understand is that when you're telling these females that, look, stay away from OnlyFans because this, and this, the first thing they're going to hit you with, the smart ones, is they're going to say, why? It's legal. What are you going to say then? Are you going to tell them that there's morality attached with making money? And the really smart ones are going to say, look, we live in America. Morality? This country bombs places because it won't do what they want them to do. It sanctions countries that don't do what they want them to do. So you're not going to talk to me about morality. And this is when the divide comes. When you say, I'm the parent, what I say goes. Guess what? They're going to say, okay. They can go to their friend's house who has the setup, like David mentioned, the lights, the camera, the phones, everything else. And guess what? She's doing OnlyFans content, same gender. Guess what? She getting broke off about 15, 20%. She come through with the latest fashions. You ain't none the wiser because you're working. Next thing you know, when she turns 17, 18, guess what? She gone. Pew. Ain't nothing you can do. But because you were so obstinate and defiant, thinking that you were the adult, you make the decisions, they pulled the rug from underneath your ass. And now you on your ass, and they on their feet walking out, making as much money and possibly more money than you. What you gonna say to them? They're gonna tell you the same thing that y'all been telling men. I don't need you. I got my own money. There ain't shit you can tell me. And then what? Who you gonna call? Her father? It's too late for all that. Because when you had the opportunity to sit down and teach her, you didn't have the wherewithal to understand how this could escalate. And it could escalate quickly. So this is why we ask the question. Is it a new form of prostitution or is it economic freedom? Remember, the stigma and the morality attached to this will lessen with time. The same way it did in years past when there were burlesque dancers, those kind of clubs. Think about it. Moulin Rouge, multi-million-dollar movie. We hear women like Heidi Fleiss, who went to jail because she wouldn't give a black book, pardon me. And her clientele list. People, this has been around for quite a long time. Sit down, do your due research of your own. But make sure that when you do, you're not trying to engage in confirmation bias. Because when I sat down and did this, I said, I'm going to look at both sides of the equation. And I'm going to look at why young women are doing this and how you could potentially influence a young woman's decision. Because if you have a young female that's not physically attractive and she don't have a lot of suitors, but she don't want to run around giving up her anatomy to everybody, well, it's not the best thing, especially if she's not smart. And like David said, because of the education system the way it is and parents aren't pouring into their kids, they're not giving them every opportunity to academically excel. They say, oh, a little bit of this won't hurt. I can do this. That's why I said go listen to the song Sights in the City. It talks about this. It's out there, people. Make yourselves aware of what this is, how your kids can come across it, and the things that can happen once that seed is planted. This is one of the things that a lot of people were upset about when they talked about removing that aspect of OnlyFans from the platform so they can make it more family oriented. Who did you hear the biggest cries from? Women. Why? Because of that money. People, it's out there. Be aware.
And the crazy thing, as you say, when you say stuff to kids, they listen to no end, and they remember shit that you say. And you can't have too many Freudian slips with them because they be on it. Because remember, as we get older, shit, we might forget, and their brains are starting to develop, and they sharper. So we wonder why the dynamics is, even when you think about boys, they out there, they in the streets now. Your ass been working the same job, getting 10-cent raises, 15-cent raises, and you've been struggling all they damn life. And the only thing you ever been able to tell, everything they ask for, all you can say is, no, you ain't got it. But when they get a certain age and that money coming in and you short, and they say to themselves, ain't no other motherfucking man about to come through here. I'm tired of seeing this movie. I got this. Mom, you need this. I got this.
Mhm.
Why do you think why do y'all think that that it's acceptable and the violence in the neighborhood and all of that stuff? And you're like, well, we all say, if I was a parent, I wouldn't allow them in there. You lost your rights. They run the house. Money, they run the house. Your ass worked the same job you've been working. They making big money. So they call the shots. Nah, he ain't coming in here. Nobody ain't coming in here like that. So what was the phrase it was? Like the son husband type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then they become the shot. No, you can't come over here, dude. Who you coming to see?
Right.
And the mother like, well, he kind of protective. His father wasn't make up excuses or whatever. That's how it go down. But long as he got that money, and mom, like to go here, go there. Her sisters may have a different pattern of life, and they may have someone, and they travel. And moms want to do it, but she knows she never could do it or never be able to afford to do it. But little Tyreek got it. He got it. So she know that he can go into his stash or whatever, like, go ahead, mom, I got this, whatever.
Mhm.
And he can come in and out, do what he want. And essentially he runs the house.
Yeah.
Because she don't got it. She don't got it. And sooner or later, that's the same thing. Well, girls will turn that table if they're not doing it now, that they'll start running things. Like when we always talk about when you don't have options, you don't have power.
Yeah.
You lose all of that. And if a kid can get more options than you, and you preach that same message, and then they just give you that look, it's been broke all on, like we barely had this or that. You can't deliver that message, even though it's been passed on from generation to generation. But if you haven't shown them no growth in 18 years, it's been the same shit. It's been a struggle. You got a silencer on your mouth. You can't say shit. You can't say shit at all. And it's sad. You lost all your power when you're not showing them growth and movement and doing this and you're doing this and you're doing that, and this is why you're doing it. Got to wake up, man. It's critical out here. And these little things we're talking about, we might throw a joking element to it to do it, but as I'm speaking these words, it's kind of sad. It's really sad. It's really sad when 15, 16, 17-year-olds, who again, brains haven't developed, and they put themselves in uncompromising positions, and you had all your life to try to do this and do that, and you didn't take advantage of it. Here we have it. That's why we're a fucking mess.
And for people who truly think this only impacts non-professional women who don't have degrees, who don't have a college education, let me disabuse you of that notion. For you sports fans, especially you WNBA fans, there may be more of them now. I'm going to mention a name, and the name's not going to be unfamiliar to you. Angel Reese. She's, before she deleted her X account or Twitter, she was posting racy pictures of her. What do you think that's a prelude to? Mm-hmm. This is what David meant when he was talking about improving your skills. Let me not say what she doesn't have. I'm going to say what I don't believe. I don't believe she has a marketing team and people who are cogent enough to say, hey, look, you have the ability to market yourself as a basketball player. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. And you have the ability to capitalize in the millions of untold dollars that could be coming your way if you do this, if you do it this way. She can sell clothes that exude sex appeal if she understood what her sex appeal was. She could sell clothing if she understood how to sell clothing. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's not what men are looking for. Wrong. That's what men that certain women are looking for aren't looking for. Because I tell you this, there's far more money in being conservative than it is being slutty. You want to know how I know? Look at some of your high profile female models. What are they selling? Are they selling sex? Or are they selling a wholesome life? Gisele Bündchen, not connected to sex in that manner. How much is she worth? Oh, people will say she's white. You know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't say Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks wasn't selling sex like that. She's pretty well to do. There are a lot of women out there who sell themselves in a alluring but morally right manner. When I say morally right, I'm talking about that's not the first thing you look at them and you see and you think about it. You don't say, hey, look, I want to strip her naked. I wonder what she looks like, this and that. Now, there are going to be a certain segment of men who always think like that. Can't avoid that. Just like there's a certain segment of women who are going to look at men and say, I wonder how much money he makes. It's out there. This is why we always talk about teaching the kids. Give them the information. It's just like David said. They listen now. They may not always do what you want. But it's just like anything. If you plant the seed, eventually it grows because their minds are fertile. So anything you plant, it's going to take root. The only question is, how long will it take before you actually see some fruit? David, can you highlight that, please? Can you highlight Greg's last comment, please? And Greg's an older Caucasian male. Listen to what we are telling you. I'll read his comment. Angel needs to develop a personality to be a role model. Not sure she can do that or wants to do it. WNBA is full of females that are incapable of this. People, we're telling you something. Understand that the money is there. That if you do certain things, you will be guaranteed certain outcomes. There's absolutely no question about that. Society is wrought with it. Inauguration Day, I'm going to pull this fact out. The whole Trump thing was based on hush money for women performing what? Some deeds. Monica Lewinsky made her money doing what? Some deeds. People. It's out there. And the more you hide this information from your kids, the more susceptible they're going to be to it. Think about it. Now I'll go back and reference to what Dave was talking about in terms of drug use. The kids that you find that are most likely to abstain from using drugs are those who have seen parents use it and their parents will erect to say, I'm not going down that course. I'm not going to replicate what my parents did because I don't want that outcome. The others, like myself, educated at a young age. I've never used marijuana. I didn't have my first drink of alcohol till I was 24. I give most of that credit to my aunt and her sister. Never saw them drink. Now, my mother hung out in bars my entire life. And everybody that knew my mother knew she did not drink alcohol. They would not even offer her alcohol. but they'd offer her some Pepsi because that's all my mother drank. Say what you want to about my mother and how she handled her reproductive life. As far as I'm concerned, she never exposed us to vice. Now, my mother liked to gamble. She played some cards. And she would we would sit down to the table with our few pennies, and if we fucked up, guess what? She would take our pennies and we would sit there and cry. Guess what we learned not to do? We learned not to gamble. So lessons come in a lot of different ways, people. I'm here to tell you. But the sooner you sit down and you tell your kids and you start to educate them, as we like to say in Black America, start to school them on what the stuff is and what it's about and the long-term ramifications, the better off they'll be. After all, isn't that what you want for your kids? You want them to be better off than what you were? Think about it.
Yeah. And to go back to like Angel Reese, whatever, yeah, pretty young lady.
Mhm.
Got it all. She's got it all. And she doesn't have to do what she has to do, but I think again, images are powerful. Some of the images she probably saw, she thinks that that's what she has to do.
Yeah.
Like, listen, young lady, no matter what you put on, you're gonna be fine. you go be fine, and you go out there and you work hard on the court. You do dirty work and all that. Your skill set ain't like a lot of them, but you work hard. You bring your lunchbox every time you out there. And I don't know. I can't, speak to her mother, her father, anything, even though she went, from this area, this Maryland area. But, she's still young and hopefully she'll get on track. And I just hope that she don't get caught up with the wrong individual that bring her down and kind of kill her spirit and all of that stuff. But it's right there in front of her to go out and grab. And she just gotta go ahead and get it when you have those abilities. And even not on that level, a lot of women, a lot of kids have that ability, and some of us older know that they had that ability, and that's why sometimes you be like, I just love this kid right here. I just love this kid, and and you're telling them like you could be great even at a young age, and maybe they don't hear that, maybe they don't see it or believe it because no one else said. But if you're around a certain person, you kind of can pick up and say, yeah, that person got that it factor.
Yeah.
And it's just the way they carry themselves, the way they move with other kids, and But, as far as in my setting, I had a luxury of 3 years in middle school. Then they go on high school, and it could be different outcomes. And I could tell you one situation. I probably brought this up before, and was this one kid. I love this kid too. We used to call him, me and my one guy, J Rob, shout out to him. We used to I nicknamed him Little Floyd, like Little Floyd Mayweather, because one of the assistant principals showed me a video footage of him fighting this other dude. I was like, he like Floyd Mayweather, oh, this dude. And but he was a likable kid, but I knew that he had other family struggles where his brother, remember we talked about brothers, family members influences being out in the streets. So I knew he was like kind of on the fence. And from elementary to middle school, we had these articulation meetings, and we get with the other counselors so if you work in elementary, you get with the middle school and you try to give information about this kid. So he was in the 8th grade. And when I got with the high school, I said, one of the things with him, if y'all can grab hold of him and y'all can get him into sports, because he's athletic, like he's a natural. If he's focus. He could play football, he could play basketball, but you got to rope him in. You got to get him with somebody that can pull him in. I said, if not, he could go the other way.
Mhm.
Well, and it saddens me, this situation. So probably after I said that statement, probably a week later, he got shot. Um, he ended up, and it's bad on my part because I was following up with the mother. He didn't die, but he was like paralyzed, probably from the from the waist down, and it broke my heart. So I just was like, wow, and I kind of said I'm not gonna keep contacting the mother no more. I had sent them because I called him Little Floyd. I went on Floyd Mayweather website, had bought him some TBE socks, T-shirt, and all of that stuff. And TBE stands for the best ever, and sent it to because he was in rehab. And the last conversation I had with the mother, she was just like, "Mr. Glover, he gonna be mad because he had a little afro and all that." She's like, "Because he got to get it cut." And she said he's not talking yet, but he's just making like facial expressions. So I know that when he get his hair cut, he's gonna be upset about that. And I kind of dropped the ball. I never followed back up. Still don't know whatever end up happening to him, but it, that's just the perfect case. Like, man, sometimes you can see something in a kid, uh, but you can't save them all the time. You're
Yeah.
not with them all the time, and he had other things that was pulling him in, and that's what happened. So we just gotta be mindful, and that's why they always say it's take a village to raise a child. But we can't always be there, and that's the sad thing and unfortunate thing that sometimes your own kids, you think you have a hold or a good grasp, but you're not with them all the time.
Yeah.
You're working, you're trying to live, trying to put a roof over and food on the thing that you don't know the little, like, information travels so fast nowadays that you don't know, uh, with their phones and different things, television, computers, that information that they can look up, and you can lose them that fast. So that's just something that just bothered me, and I probably could go on the system and look and get see if I can find information and contact the mother and see whatever happened. It's been a couple years now. Uh, I just I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't gonna be a part no more. He was in the high school, so I kind of stepped away. I don't know. That might be cowardly or whatever, but I just said I just didn't want to keep calling and keep calling, uh, uh, and it was just painful to hear like his progress. So that's just that. I'm done.
Yeah, no, and to follow, and that's an exceedingly valid point. And to follow up what you're saying, and to bring it back to what we were talking about initially, is the average age of prostitution or the sex market starts with females that are between the ages of 15 and 19. That is roughly the age of the average high school student on the low end to the high end. Now, what people will probably ask, okay, well, what does that matter? Once these young women hit the age of 16, 17, and they don't see an out in terms of economics, the mother's struggling, the father may contribute, but not enough for her to get what she wants to fit in, she's probably going to take measures to fit in. So if she doesn't run away, there's back to what we talked about. Either her room, she wants this for Christmas, she wants this for my birthday. And guess what? She may only ask you for one thing. But guess who else she asks for other things? Her father, an uncle or another relative. And guess what? In 4 or 5 months, she's got the setup. You're going to ask, why you spend so much time in your room? I'm just reading. Yeah, she reading all right. She reading the crowd. She reading the talks. She reading the comments. She drops a link in there. $5.99 a month. You can see all these little bits and goodies. She turned 18. And all of a sudden, now it all comes off. And she got some little sugar daddies out there. And the sugar daddies might not even be the age that most people are thinking. The sugar daddies might be college students who got enough money to go out and buy a cup of Starbucks every day. But they want to see her. And so they pay. We were saying, late teens, early 20s, when they firm, supple, got them snow-capped peaks, and they say, hey, I can make some money doing this. Well, shoot. It's more than my mother's ever made. It's more than I've ever seen in a month or years or whatever. I can go out and buy these Louis Vuittons. I can go out and treat myself to $100 dinner if I want to. I can go buy this. I can have this man flew me out across country. He's going to pay for this. He's going to pay for that. I'll be back home to go to college class on Monday. People, it is a world out there that a lot of people don't consider because they themselves have never been able to partake in it. Don't let your ignorance be your child's Achilles heel. Please, for your sake and her sake, find out what's going on. Find out why it's going on. And I'm not saying try to prevent it. I'm just saying understand why it might occur and what you can do to try and redirect that energy, because that's all it is. It's a focus. So if you can help that child focus on something else to get over that gap, because mind you, most adults in this country are working paycheck to paycheck. There are very few adults who are actually that well off, regardless of where you're living at. So you have to be able to get your child to understand that economic struggle doesn't always have to be permanent, but you have to understand how to get by in times of economic distress so you can make it to the next step. And you can do that in one or two ways. You can do it investment, you can do it working hard, you can do it in a number. And if you want to do OnlyFans, okay, here is what you need to know about doing it. And people will say, well, isn't that pushing towards it? No. If a child knows that they can do something and leverage that, whatever it is, because that's all, think about it. Why do people go to college? So they can leverage this into making more money. Some people don't have the aptitude for college. Now, I'm not saying you need a great aptitude to be on OnlyFans to make money, but you do have to have some intelligence on how to use that money to invest to further your goals, like Auntie said. So when you do that and you give your child some information, guess what your child is more apt to do? They're more apt to come to you and say, hey, Mom, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Guess what you've done? It's like I said at the end of my closings. You've taken a brick out of the wall of communication and you've opened the lines of communication. That way, your daughter is less apt to hide things from you. That's how you establish the open lines of communication. You can say, all right, daughter, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. And you up front, you say, look, I don't condone this. I understand that you're growing. You're going to be an adult soon. You're going to have decisions you make. This is what you need to understand. This is how it's going to impact your decisions long term. So if you're looking to get married, understand. If you're looking to do this, understand. This is what you have to deal with. And you give them the information, as we like to say on this platform. What was G.I. Joe's moniker? Knowing is half the battle. You have a lot of these kids that get into the world and they don't know. and they're blindsided. And by the time they get to know, it is too late. Arm them. Make sure that their toolkit has everything in it that they need to grow and develop and be able to get on in this world so they can get to wherever it is that they want to get to with the minimal amount of damage done. And when you do that, you can say as an adult that I did everything that I knew how to do to direct my child, to have my child stay clear of the pitfalls, to have my child make solid decisions based on the current information that was available at that time, and to hopefully turn into a productive adult.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Herb said, it is so much to it. The one thing you got to hope for that you have the open line of communication, that they are able to come to you, because it's quick for things to go the other way. Let's see what Vicky said. According to recent market reports, the global sex industry, including adult entertainment and sex toys, is estimated to have generated about 182 billion in 2024.
God damn.
Yeah. And yeah, and I'm not disputing that. Had no reason to look up that information, but it's real out here. So it's hard to overcome that easy money.
Yeah.
That easy money compared to saying, if you go to college and you could do this and that, because they're not making things. Things are not fun like it used to be.
Yeah.
It's not how it used to be. Even school, like we used to have a little fun. It used to be fun going to school. These kids come in mad all day long. They walk in the building mad, just mad for no reason. And you like, the hell? It could be a freaking Friday, a half a day. They mad. They mad. Why you mad? We used to look forward to that. And so this current landscape don't permit that. But then when you have other opportunities, you're like, man, I could do whatever. And if they're good with technology, what can you do? What do you think they're gonna settle for? Unfortunately, I mean, and granted, there's still people that's doing things, the traditional way. But then you got other people. They got entrepreneur spirits. They like, yo, I could get there. I could take a shortcut and get there. I'm cute. I'm smart. I'm charismatic. I could work it in another way, and I ain't got to be doing all that. And I could be learning from someone who's doing it. What do you think they're gonna do? More than likely, see. And sometimes guys don't have that opportunity. Ain't no who checking for, a boy to be on OnlyFans and he ain't got no shirt on. He got a freaking bird chest or whatever the case is. It's not the same. It's not the same. So that luxury, there's sugar mamas and all that stuff, but it doesn't work like that for boys. But girls, the way they develop and all that stuff, and as they progress and get older, you got people watching.
Mm-hmm.
You got people watching, and so it's a lucrative trade that some people are getting into, and they may never even had any personal contact with anyone, like Herb said earlier, with the people that subscribe and reach out to them. So, and they making money and making good money. So I don't know. It's hard to say, how do you prevent it? And let me tell y'all, before some of y'all say, oh, you go to church and pray.
Okay, you can do that if you want to.
Which you might find out her going into her purse and dropping a nice tie. Like, I got it. I got it. While you always throwing $5 in there, I threw 50 in there because I got it. I got it.
And the pastor ain't gonna say anything.
Absolutely not. So
That goes to the church coffers.
We got dilemmas, and that's why I said we got bigger fish to fry all the time, but I don't know. And people say, well, why don't you take the lead on this, David? And why don't you do that? No, why I don't? Because nobody, because half of the time people can't even do little simple things. So you're not gonna add more to your plate.
Yeah.
That's what it's a young man's game that you try to school them and they have more energy and they got the spirit and they can have the ability to have influence. But man, I'm checked out from that. I'm trying to get into the stage to try to be in the check cashing business and ride out and vacation and just chill and do whatever. I'm trying to figure a way out of my situation right now. The school thing, for real, seriously, but that's just how it is. Vicky said, according to foot, you started off wrong. According to foot fetish market research and alternative income reports, individuals can earn up to $500 a week with this unusual yet thriving business venture. Damn. People liking feet like that.
Hey, we had a panel member that talked about it, so I am not going to dispute what she posted. I will say this though. Go ahead, Dave.
Who was that again?
Anita.
Oh,
Anita talked about selling feet foot pics. And I am not opposed to anybody being able to market and monetize themselves. After all, what is fashion? We have lingerie models. They're selling themselves, but the only thing about it is this: we don't see their we don't see their faces because they cut them off because they're trying to sell the bra. But think about it: you can't sell a good set for women anyway. You cannot sell a good matching set of bra and panties without the lingerie model there to illustrate what it looks like with the right attitude, shall I say. And it's all, you said it, imagery. It's all about marketing. So if you got an individual and you're trying to sell some shoes, are you gonna put somebody in those shoes who have bunions and calluses? No, you're gonna find somebody that's got the right feet. We saw that in the movie Boomerang. Eddie Murphy pulled back the sheets and what did he say? Oh, she got hammer time. Pull back the sheets on other females. She got pretty feet. Some guys like pretty feet. Some people pay for pretty feet.
According to the never mind. I lost my train of thought. No, I got it back. According to the counseling, the controversial counselor chronicles, many women, when you talk about bra and panties, they don't have matching sets. 72% are buying panties in a pack. I'm just messing around. I'm just talking.
It's really funny. Personally speaking, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. I don't give a damn if they don't match. I don't if it's lace, if it's cotton, if you're wearing any boxers, briefs, hey, that's your personal choice.
Yeah, that could be expensive.
Say
that could be expensive.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta
for women, whatever. Yeah,
it costs about $100. Absolutely. So I'm not going to denigrate any women if you're not walking through the door if you're not wearing pink or Victoria's Secrets, for those who don't know, and I'm sure most of you probably know, Pink is just an offshoot of the Victoria's Secrets brand. Don't ask me how I know. I'm not getting into all of that.
Mm.
Starting to sound like Stephen A. But I mean, and when we talk about the trade, marketing lingerie, if you can get it, can be a nice, profitable part-time gig. So let's make some segue to a movie, Varsity Blues. For those of you who have seen the movie Varsity Blues, the teacher at the end was physically attractive. And what was she doing on the side? She's working in the adult clubs. People. $500 a week for a couple hours of work. If you work in a job that's paying you, let's say you net about $35,000 a year, if you could pull in about $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 just doing side work, depending on where you are, you're doing okay. You're not struggling. You ain't got to listen to nobody say you do this or you do that. You come and go as you please. Hey, we hear it all the time. Women want economic stability. They want economic freedom. And that's for them. That's one of the unfiltered, unadulterated ways that they can capitalize on the market. And I'll be the first to say it. That's a market that really cannot be saturated. And some people will disagree. They will say, well, no, that's not true. That market can be saturated. This is the reason why the market cannot be saturated. And I'll debate this with anybody. That's because the male desire to be sexually engaged can't be satiated. Not entirely. There's far too many men that want to have an orgasm. Take it how you want to. Even as they advance in age, men still want that. Now, they may not be able to achieve that unless they go out and get some Viagra, but nevertheless, that desire doesn't go away completely. It might diminish, but it doesn't go away completely. This is why when pre-middle of the 20th century, a lot of armies had prostitutes that would travel with the army. You don't believe me? Go look it up. World War II, when men had leave, they would go into some of the places that weren't in enemy hands, and they would have themselves taken care of. Same thing in the Navy. In the Navy, you can go back and verify this. VD was rampant, especially when they had leave in destinations that weren't ports, that weren't their traditional home ports, shall we say. On military vessels, they had special seats that were color-coded red for those who have venereal diseases. They even circulated information among the sailors how to prevent themselves from catching VD. That's what it was termed. They didn't really have names for the particular diseases at that particular time because penicillin wasn't around. And this is a segue to something most people may not know about, the movie Miss Evers Boys. Go check that out. So all the stuff we're telling you about has its genesis in female financial freedom. No matter where it ends, there's always a beginning.
It's a lot, and I was and I lost it. I was strolling through my timeline. I didn't get his name, but this is off on another subject. But I have to announce this. I had posted in like that sports intellectual group and all that, and I came across my timeline, and it's totally different. But when you talk about somebody's skills and trade, shout out to that brother who had bowled 3 perfect games in bowling.
Yeah, 900.
Yeah, like just wanted to give that person a shout out. Hopefully you get all the exposure and you get invited to some tours or something, whatever. Cause damn, that right there,
Hella impressive.
yeah, that's some serious shit to be able to do that in bowling. And I hope that segued for you to get the opportunity to make money, easy money, Easy money, yeah. So, and and things like that, like you just never know. You just never know that we have to publicize and put out that information for people to get that opportunity. Good, bad, or indifferent. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we have to put that out there to say. Now, not everybody. I don't know if that's going to be accomplished for many people, but for the right time, right now, to see that, hey, that brother need to be shouted out. That should be coming through ESPN. That footage should be coming through ESPN soon, because that's big. he
Certainly,
was
the local
he was on
affiliates,
a yeah.
WKBW, WIVB, and I can't remember what channel two was. They should have certainly carried that. I know, when we were coming up, or Weinstein, and they had a segment which they ran stuff like that for the local people. And I don't think people who aren't bowling fans anyway understands how not only rare that accomplishment is, how great that accomplishment is. And I'll use another sport to illustrate that. That's the equivalent of going out and throwing 3 perfect games in baseball. In hockey, that would be the equivalent of taking 3 shots on goal and scoring 3 goals. Basketball, that would be the equivalent of every shot you take going in. Football, that would be every pass attempt that a quarterback throws is complete. Get the picture?
Simply put, that brother was on the heater. he was on the heater. God damn, he was on the heater.
Yeah, man. Because I know when I bowl, I struggle to get to 100. So
I usually average about 275. I'm joking. I'm joking. I haven't bowled in a minute, but
yeah, I actually I'm looking at going next month, so I'll let you guys know how that turns out. But I ain't bowled in about 8-9 years. I have to actually pick up I have a 16-pound ball. I think I need to go find me a 12 or 13-pound ball to use as a spare ball. I use the 16 ball as probably as a strike ball. Somebody, hey, you're using them the wrong way. That's what I started out with, man. Sue me. But
well, brother,
yeah, man.
brother Chris said he finally got some competition. I don't know what he bowling. I don't know what he be getting, but he be talking real good. He talking real good.
I mean, and the funny thing about that is, and I know there's bowling season, so it's sometimes difficult to get a time to bowl. And that's one thing I have to look at when I go on this next excursion. But bowling is a fun activity, and a lot of people are always looking for ways to meet different people. Nod, nod, wink, wink. Join a bowling team. Join a bowling league. Like I said, people are always looking for commonalities. You can sit there, have a conversation with somebody, expand your horizons, tap into another market. People, hey, things that you don't do, you should pick up. No pun intended. But
yeah, people
go
sign
bowling.
up, have a little team, a little league, whatever. Have people sign up and conversation flowing. You got drinks, food, and all that stuff, whatever. It's a good time, whatever, and you ain't got to worry about too much violence or being shot up or whatever like that. It's just other ways to do things to be able to get the same outcome or pleasures other than being in situations that my ass is too old to be involved
Yeah.
in this activity. So it's a lot. I mean, when I look at this show, a lot of stuff covered, a lot of different things. Hopefully, eye-opening stuff. When we think about OnlyFans and the direction is probably going, the mindset of our young people, that we have to come up with different strategies and different approaches. I mean, we cannot rely on. And I know. Often we always talk about, well, back in my days, or we did this and that, but I don't know if they don't. That's not moving them. That's not moving them. What moves them is kind of you being yourself, and they just watching how you move, but you're not hitting them with a overdosage of back in your days stuff, whatever. And they're looking for consistency and how you do it, because they're watching you. They're
Yeah.
they're watching you, and they pick up on every little thing. I always have a thing that I say, and I tell the boys this. Nah, I don't do any of it, but it's just kind of like a thing. I say, you know what today is? Fold them up Fridays. Y'all keep playing with me, y'all gonna get folded up. Most counselors would say that, but I'll say it. But they know he just talking, so they laugh at that. So now they come up to me, Mr. Glover, it's Friday. You know what today is? What's that? Fold them up Friday. I'm like, yeah, I should fold you up, whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay. But that's just a testimony of things that you say, but they don't. When I say it, they like one boy said, man, Mr. Glover, you've been saying that for the last couple years, and you ain't folded up. You a bluff. but but it's just something. I got your attention. Every time I said I got your attention.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna fold you up for real, but nah, I'm not really gonna fold them up. But it's just little things. It's just like little things you got to do or say to get their attention. But if they know you, they know he don't mean no harm. He just be talking. He just be talking, and that's what I do. So, but we got to come up with other strategies. We gotta, because again, that instant gratification. And if there's money out there, and like Vicky reported on them stats, that's what they gonna lean toward to. Why the hell should I go to college and be writing papers and all that stuff? And I got all this video equipment that I can invest in. Then I got Afterpay, Klarna, and all that stuff. I could pay in 4 different payments, whatever. I could get all my whole thing set up, and I can do this and do that, and I ain't got to worry about nothing. What you gonna do?
That's a lot of money, man. I'm looking at that 182 billion. And the thing about that is this. Nobody's looking to capture the market. People are only looking to get a piece of that. And whether that's 1 billionth of a percent, if that individual is working another job, then that's additional income. And with AI coming to snatch jobs up, the demographic most exposed to that are going to be women, because a lot of those jobs are going to be retail jobs. They're going to be mid-level management jobs that are predominantly held by women. And from the reports that I hear, some of those jobs are going to be in the medical field. Nurses, overwhelmingly female. So if they're taking out nursing jobs and some doctor jobs, those women are going to look to make money somewhere else.
We'll see. And that's the issue. When they start taking out jobs like that, doctors, nurses, teachers, and all that stuff, they pretty much telling you they don't give a damn. So you just got to do what you got to do, because some things just simply don't make sense. When you say, oh, we're having budget cuts and we're going to pull from this and pull for that, and you say to yourself, really? But I think we in dire straits, whatever. But I guess for some guys, shout out to Donald Trump saying that, about child support and all that. If you're a mother that gets child support, you won't be able to claim that kid if that father's paying child support.
Game changer.
It's
a game changer, boy.
Yeah, that could be critical, because you know what? some of y'all just don't do right. Whatever. You may have guys that got a good job. They got into a situation and they pay their money faithfully. Now you get at the time everybody want a little bonus, little something. Now you didn't claim the child and you get 8, 9, 7, 8, 9,000 back. You claiming the kid, but he been paying this amount throughout and buying extra, buying stuff and all that stuff. You don't think to say, you don't think for 1 minute to say, listen, in behalf of both of us, we gonna give you, I'm gonna give you a share of this, or whatever. That could go a long way with some guys. That could go a long way. Yeah, I don't try. Yeah, like, well, he make this, he make that, always clocking his. Because Auntie said, stop clocking these men pockets, whatever, all the damn time, and that could go a long way. Y'all don't do that. So now, shit, enough people probably talked about it, and now you got the press saying about to shut that shit down. Shut it down. Now what y'all gonna do?
In addition to that, I've always talked about this, and I'm going to reiterate a 539 savings plan. Just imagine if you're getting back 6,000, if you're getting anywhere above 1,500, if you put half of that, let's say you got 2 kids, so let's take $1,000, and you put half of that into a 539 every year until like kid gets to be 17, guess what? That kid has got a nice little graduation present waiting for him. They want to go put a down payment on the house, they can do that. They want to go buy a new or slightly used car outright, they can do that. If they want to set up a system where they have a down payment on a home, on a car, and they want to start to build credit or equity, they want to invest in something, all that's there. If they want to set themselves up to where they can open a little studio and start to do, yes, I'm going to say it, OnlyFans, guess what? They're safe from predators. All of that stuff could have been done, but a lot of women choose to be selfish. They take that money, want to go buy flat screen TVs. They want to go buy clothes. They want to go buy all this stuff. They don't want to invest in the future of the kids. And then they wonder why when these kids start to get 14, 15, and 16, they start looking for ways to make money. See the correlation?
And also, sometimes you have kids that talk to their dads, and they like, listen, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do that. I send your mother. I give her this or that, and sometimes I send extra. Do you ever get any of it? They say no. Every time I ask her something, she says she don't got it. Oh wow. So she don't spend anything on them? And they say, well, she live here. She live here. She got to for real? Like for real? You got some of the stuff you have to pay no matter what.
Right.
So now you're trying to use that to say like, and she's like 5 or 6 that she has to pay half of this or pay half of that. Get the fuck out of Dodge with that. Like that's just abuse. That's just abuse. So and you wonder why like some of the turmoil you have between when you talk about co-parenting and all that stuff and things don't work because you should be able to say, well, your dad sent you this, so name something that you want or whatever. We could do this because your dad sent you some money. You should be able to try to kind of empower the child. They say, even though my dad's not here, whatever, but I got a chance to do this. I do that because he paid for it. Now they don't say that shit. They don't even mention that dad even contribute and all that stuff. So now you have to let somebody else take fate of that. The Trumper. Now y'all gonna be scrambling because some of y'all, oh yeah, y'all attitude's gonna change now. During income tax on y'all. Before you can't tell y'all shit. Now it's gonna change. We'll see how that shit be. Gonna see how that be. We ain't gonna see all them pictures I'm living my best life on vacation and all that shit. You don't see all that shit. You may be, but when you come back, shit gonna be shut off. You'll see how that you'll see how that play out, whatever.
Man, it's critical. Situation is going to be critical for a lot of people, man. Critical. Some people might be on life support. Some people might have to do some things, that they would not like to do. And by that, I mean moving in with people. Excuse me. Moving in with people that they don't get along with because they can't afford to do it on their own. And to be honest, that's not necessarily a bad thing. We see a lot of other coaches do it and they do it successfully. Maybe it's time for us to look at how we do things. But people, shit's gonna change. As Kevin Samuels used to say, winter's coming. And for some of you, winter is here. I look at my computer, it says it's 9 degrees out. That's cold. But reality is gonna get a lot colder for a whole lot of people.
Still cuffing season. Still cuffing season.
We ain't talking about pants either.
Yeah. Would you say you're not talking about what?
Pants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's that time. It's brick out there. Gotta lay up with a nice body, whatever. It might be your baby daddy might need to come through there. You might have to cut a deal with him or something. Never know. I mean, I'm not, this has nothing to do with me at this point, but it'd just be interesting to see how stuff play out, whatever. Because as far as the stuff I've seen about the inauguration, all that, they said he came in fucking blazing with shit he's about to do. And they said, and that was the difference why she didn't win. That Kamala, that she kept saying what she's not gonna do, but he came up with a plan what he's gonna do. People want to hear what you're gonna do, not what you're not gonna do. So she never could defy like her plan on what she plans on doing. And the Trump, wise in the game, he got a lot of advisors and different people he messed with over the years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's hard. The network is different, and that's what some of y'all just simply didn't understand. And I don't be having a dog in some of these fights. I just be like, yeah, I just don't get it. Like he's connected with a lot of people.
The funny thing is, when I see, shout out to Stephen A. He's I've been telling people, he's been wailing on the political realm. He's been bringing in people on the left. He's been bringing in people on the right. And when I hear what they're saying collectively, I'm like, yeah, we're at a crossroads. And granted that America is not the country that it was and is not, and going forward, America financially is not going to be the country that it used to be, meaning that there's going to be some changes. Now, America, in terms of its military, is always going to be probably the preeminent power because of how much money is spent. But understand, just because you control or you have the thumb on the pulse of the world in terms of military application or the abilities, doesn't mean you control the world financially, because America as a world's reserve currency, I don't know how long that's going to last, especially if, like David was mentioning, if the U.S. and Trump can do this, he pulls out of NATO. People just understand how that can create a domino effect. I don't believe he needs congressional approval to do that. I could be wrong on that particular point. So if somebody's more astute in terms of what the president can and can't do in terms of the U.S. and NATO, correct me on that. But I'll look it up. But I mean, because he threatened to do it his last term, because a lot of countries weren't holding up the end of the bargain in terms of their spending. And I don't want to get into politics per se, but there's a threshold that every country that's a part of NATO needed to meet in terms of their spending, and that's predicated on their GDP. But hey, it is what it is. So start making plans, start putting down on paper what you want, what you need, and what you can sacrifice, and start moving accordingly. And if that means you have to consolidate till you get on better footing, be amenable to that. And like David said, if that means, and this is something we talked about before, if that means you have to get back with the mother or father of your child, hey, do that. But do it with the understanding that there's a long-term goal. And don't go in bickering and fighting. Put all the stuff that happened in the past, leave it there. The unresolved issues, because all you do is agitate the child. You don't solve anything. And keep the rules of rules. Neither one of you bring another individual inside the home. The home is supposed to be the sanctity. So if you want to get your freak on, go find you an inexpensive hotel room. If you want to spend Valentine's Day doing something, do it outside the house. Make the house a sanctuary. That should be the safe space for everybody in there. So eliminate the arguing. Sit down and have these discussions. They're going to happen. People are not always going to agree. When it comes to the child, have the child sitting at the table so the child understands how to engage in discussion without being or having the need to be right. Because everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be understood. And that's where it should be beginning in. No yelling, no fussing, no fighting, and certainly no cursing in front of the kids. That's not necessary if you have a vocabulary. If you don't, then that may not be the course for you.
Yeah, you mentioned another dreaded word, freaking Valentine. Valentine, who the fuck is Valentine? We always talk about this shit. I've been on other shows where people arguing back and forth with them about Valentine, so that's coming up.
Oh man, I mean, just with you know what? I got I got a multiple list, and I'm sorting out my stuff in my upstairs bathroom of all the talking points I had. And I'm going through some of the stuff. I'm like, oh, this is funny. This is even more funny because we're gonna get into this coming up in the future. The whole 50-50 thing, that if he don't do this and he don't want to do that and drop him, and I'm just like, people, y'all don't have a clue. Y'all don't have a clue.
Yeah. We gonna get we about to get ready to get up out of here. Any closing comments, Herb, based on this show tonight?
Yeah, man. We are in a different day and time. New ways to make money. Shout out to Nas. The news become old. What do you say? Some dudes stop rocking platinum, stop wearing gold, start rocking platinum, something like that. Give your kids the gift of information. Okay? Stop hiding things from them. Stop telling them what not to do. And give them the understanding of why they may not want to do things. And if they're going to do things, the pros and the cons. Don't give them your opinion. Don't tell them what you were doing. Like David said earlier, don't tell them back in my days. Them days are gone. They're not coming back. So arm them with information. And hopefully the job you did, setting the foundation, leads them to take the way that yields the greatest results with the least amount of pain. And for that, I'll say Godspeed, good night. Go with an understanding the curves in the gray area and take a brick out of the wall. Don't put one in.
All right. Piggyback on that. Pretty much what Herb said. It's about education, it's about hearing them out, and it's about understanding. We can't keep using the same approach that because I said so, or back in my days. Unless you got an explanation, or you're gonna get that side eye. Like, how did Dad, Mom, how did that work out for you? You still always saying you broke. You don't never had nothing. So that's a quick rebuttal for them. That kind of what's that phrase? Do as I say, or
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, they looking for doers. Shit, if you gonna say it, then shit, show me that you did it. That's the best example. Your body of work. So we gonna have to have a great body of work to keep pushing forward because these kids, yeah. Oh, I've been said this. I said this years ago. I made a post. Kids run households. Kids run schools, and people like, I don't know. Wait, part of you, they don't run my household. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And some of y'all who say that shit, you be forgetting that y'all post stuff and other people be talking and you see what's going on. So all that talk, listen, you gotta live it. You gotta be able to talk it. You gotta live it because they're your kids breathing down your necks. And again, you'll be able to tell by certain things they ask for, and you'll know what they're trying to get into. Certain things you think, I was gonna just get you these sneakers. I was gonna get you that. Nah, they want technology, and they start asking for, I need this green screen in the back. You're like, huh? There's something I seen on Amazon, or shit. Once they start getting their little money right, you might start seeing Amazon packages coming through, and you like, the hell you get? How you keep getting all these packages? Planning is in place. It's in place. So be mindful, whatever. We always say be mindful. They could be setting up shop in their room, basement, or over to their dad's house, or whatever the case is. 'Cause remember, dad just be chilling, watching his game, watching the games, worked all that. And shit, they come there like, I ain't got to hear my mother mouth because I know my
Yeah.
dad. He just go say, yo, you hungry? Oh, you want something to eat? Order something. And they gonna be good. And shit, your girlfriend can come through there. Shit, your girlfriend, mom, your little girlfriend, mama can come through. Dad plowing her. Yeah.
Woo! He's the coach
Throw
of the
that in
team.
there.
My son's gonna get playing time.
Yeah.
Time in
So,
the field.
it's crazy out there. So just be mindful. It was something else. I just be talking. I'm starting to be like Auntie. Just be talking and be forgetting it was something. Oh, next week, whatever. We got a special guest, Nisi Carter Ellis from Niagara Falls, has her own program, The Attitude. She'll be a guest on there. Been trying to get her to come on, guest for years, but I'm always behind somebody from the Cataract City, Niagara Falls. They got their own brand, put in work. Just want to, it gives me encouragement, and it gives others encouragement when you're trying to build a brand. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do: build a brand. As you get older, to have a brand, legacy, and stuff like that, to pass it on and try to generate other incomes based on it. So that will be the show next week. So, but with shows and all, it don't matter who come on. We still gonna have an element of drama. We still gonna have our element, and usually that interviews usually from 9 to 10, and unless something's pressing, we might still be on after that. So depends on what comes out of the conversation, but it's real. But again, tonight, everybody, stay warm.
Yeah, buddy.
It's gonna be brick, whatever. Cuffing season is still in place, whatever. You need a warm body, whatever. They got body pillows that you can order and all that stuff, but ain't nothing like somebody breathing on your neck smelling like Parmesan and keeping you warm. E&J, whatever, that might suit you better.
In my case, pineapple Ciroc. It's a pink lemonade. This is our thing. Right?
All right, good people. We out. On to the next one. See y'all next
Y'all
time.
be safe, man, and keep warm.
All right, peace.